Hi, my name is Chris Bennis. I'm the president of the Lake Forest Caucus. And today I have the good fortune to be here with Lisa Nehring, who is a volunteer here in Lake Forest for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Plan Commission. We're going to take a little bit of time today to get to know Lisa a little better, along with the work she's been doing on the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Plan Commission. Lisa's been a lifelong resident of Lake Forest. She's really good at math. And thank you for being here today, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Chris, for having me here today. It's a pleasure to come and speak to you. A little bit about myself. I've been married for 33 years to a wonderful guy named Mark. I have two children, Andrew and Paul, and they're wonderful. And now they're grown up. They're not boys anymore. I always used to say, oh, there's my boys. But they're like, Mom, we're not boys. Please call us adults, you know. And they are. They're adults, and one's married now, and they're on their way. But we're still here in Lake Forest, and we love it, and we enjoy being here and being a part of the community. I've done a lot of different things in terms of volunteering all my life here in Lake Forest, from St. Mary's School to being president of Park Lane Homeowners Association, to working with the city in that in terms of getting, you know, stuff for the subdivision that wasn't done from the developer and helping tying that off. And then I went on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I was on that for 6 years, and my last year I was the chairman. And now I'm currently on the Plan Commission. And I'm enjoying it. I love working with the community, the city, and with my colleagues, the board members and commissioners.
Wonderful. And your background is teaching.
Oh, yes. Yeah, math. I forgot. Yeah, that's probably very major, right? I actually have been teaching for 35 years, 29 years at Stevenson High School, and I actually just retired. So it's like, woohoo! It's like kind of different, but I've retired from that. But I enjoy teaching. I love it. And I taught math for 9th through 12th graders for 35 years.
Wonderful. So, I might need to hit you up with some tips as my boys get older, and I have to start teaching them pre-calculus and calculus. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about the Building Review Board, the Plan Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. How are they different from one another, and how do the services that they offer to Lake Forest residents complement one another?
Well, the Building Board of Review helps maintain and preserve the unique character of Lake Forest. The Zoning Board of Appeals helps with residential zoning appeals for variances on the zoning code, the city zoning code. They also update special use permits and variations on their zoning as well. The Plan Commission, that's long-term. The Plan Commission deals with the neighborhood and the city. It deals with new land, new business. We do special use permits for the Central Business District Plan, and we also do special use permits, for the schools and churches and hospital. And how do they work together? Well, the Building Board of Review, Zoning Board of Appeals, and Plan Commission are recommending bodies to the City Council. The Plan Commission sets the zoning code. They set the zoning code for the special use permits and for the new land. And the Zoning Board of Appeals hears zoning appeals based off the zoning that was set by the Plan Commission. And the Building Board of Review helps maintain the long-term goal that the Plan Commission had set up in terms of the neighborhoods, preserving the character and the construction. So hopefully that helped out a bit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Sometimes I think it could get a little muddied in terms of what each of the boards do. So that was a really great explanation. Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. So you were on the Zoning Board of Appeals for 6 years. The last 2 years as chairperson.
Well, last year as a chair.
Last person as chair. Can you talk a little bit about some of the key attributes a volunteer needs to have when they're participating on ZBA or even Plan? And maybe give an example of an attribute or two that you had to apply when you were serving on ZBA.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to be collaborative. You've got to be a team player. You've got to be committed. You've got to be a critical thinker. You have to be open-minded. Positivity definitely helps. Hardworking definitely helps. But you got to make sure you do not have agenda, no mindset at all, and that you base your decisions off of facts. And in terms of, like, for an example, if a petitioner comes with a variance request, what happens is we get the information packet from the city. What I do from that is I go through that. I figure out any questions that I have. I go out to the site and I look at the site as well. And then I go to the meeting. That's when the democratic process starts. That's when the community gives their input, the petitioner gives their input, the city gives their input, And then the board also gives their input, and we have dialogue on that, and we look at that. And then based off of all that, we try to make a responsible decision for the community based off the facts.
Can you cite perhaps an example of some collaboration and activity that happened on ZBA that you are particularly proud of, or really illustrated that collaborative nature that you spoke about in describing one of the key attributes for somebody who's serving on ZBA?
I would think it would be the one case when it was actually two, when it was ELWA, when I wasn't chair, and then ELWA when I was chair. In ELWA, we had updated the special use permits. Special use permits are for like ELWA and the churches and the schools, as I had mentioned before. And it came up for their plan to be actually reevaluated and looked at. And then we had people in the community that were very concerned about different things. And we tried to work through that as a board and a community and the city collectively. So we came up with a plan, a revised plan. And then, ironically, in my last year as chair, it came back again because they wanted to do a handicap accessible, to make something handicap accessible in ELWA. And they gave us feedback on the report of what the main problem was with all the events and the things, and that there was too many and whatever. And the reports were very positive, like, yes, everything is going fine. The compromise was really good and all that. And that was very rewarding to see that. And everybody was happy that ELWA was there. The neighbors were. They at least appeared to be.
So it sounds like one of the key activities that you're part of the process is getting that community feedback, the community input to incorporate into the decision-making that the board is doing on a regular basis.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's very important. You can't make a decision without that, and it's unfair because it's unbalanced. Facts are the facts of the community, from the city, from whatever issues there are, from the architect or what have you. Again, it's all a balancing act, but you have to be fair to everybody, and everybody's voices need to be heard.
Can you talk about what aspect of Lake Forest Public Service has been the most rewarding and perhaps the most challenging?
Sorry, I had to take a drink. The most challenging, I would have to say, is you have to agree to disagree. Meaning you really want to make everybody happy. You really do, but you can't do that. You have to base your decision off the facts that I had said, and not everybody, possibly they're going to disagree with you, but you try to be fair and make a reasonable decision off of that. The rewarding part, the last 7 years, I've enjoyed learning from the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Plan Commission, learning about the city, how it operates, and also working with the community and the board to make decisions on different cases.
So this is your first year on Plan.
Mm-hmm.
What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to as being a member of the Plan Commission?
The same things that I did on the Zoning Board. I really enjoyed it. It just, I know it sounds dorky, but I really do. I enjoy looking at all the cases, asking the different questions. There's a lot of math involved in it, so obviously that's probably why I'm like, woohoo, I like this. I take an analytical approach on everything. But I enjoy the process, and it's really neat to see how the process, it's so fair and it's very, very balanced. It really is, and everybody's trying to do the best for the community, not for themselves, and that's where it should be.
Maybe you'll be able to bust out some trigonometry on the Plan
Yeah,
Commission.
I know.
Teach the fellow members, bring them up to speed. You were a caucus endorsed candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for going through that process and all the time you committed to that for the ZBA and Plan. What types of advice do you have for somebody who is looking to volunteer in Lake Forest and is going to be engaging the caucus committee?
Again, you know, I said that I enjoyed learning, but I also enjoyed working with and being with the people on the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Plan Commission. The experience that I had with the board members, commissioners was great. And it was such a wonderful and rewarding feeling to see Lake Forest grow and know that I was a part of it. And I think that is what the cool part was. So the advice, get engaged. Get involved in the caucus, in the Lake Forest Caucus, and be a part of that growth of Lake Forest. Because you might not think it's rewarding, but it actually really is. You drive by, you're like, woo, I had help in that. I did that. I helped make that work. And that's something to say, hey, you know, I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of my town.
You're very knowledgeable about the boards and commissions you're on. You're very engaged with the community. What are some of the behaviors and the activities that you did that really helped you become more effective as a volunteer?
Well, in terms of I use critical thinking skills and I think on my feet and I do problem solving, I think outside the box and I look at different things. I'm like, well, could this be a possibility to try? And often like we had a plan commission meeting for the central business district plan. And I said, well, is this idea a possibility? Is this something that we could work on? And they're like, we've actually talked about that idea. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not so far off base when the city was like, oh, okay. So you have to be able to think outside the box and be flexible and also respect your board members and commissioners. I mean, they make the decision the best that they can and they explain why they made that decision. You might not like it, but that's okay. You move on with it. You can agree to disagree and you move on.
Central Business District planning is very important now. It will be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advice do you have for Lake Forest residents who want to learn more about what's going on with the Central Business District planning and some of the activities and actions that are being taken in part by the Plan Commission?
It's very important that you've got to get involved and engaged. At least follow that, okay, this is what the meeting's going about, because the city council now is going to be taking that central business district plan and they've chopped it up in pieces in terms of first is the infrastructure, then it's Bank Lane, and then it's the core. So it's really important that if you want a voice, you need to speak up. You need to speak to your alderman. You need to speak to people on the Plan Commission or the Zoning Board of Appeals and make sure we get that feedback, because any feedback that I get, I always bring it forward in the meeting of the Plan Commission. Like I did when I was investigating the Central Business District Plan, I went around Bank Lane and I talked to store owners and I said, okay, you know, whatever store owners I found that were there, and it was great feedback, you know, if they had any, and I brought that forward at the meeting as well.
The Plan Commission meetings are public, correct?
Yes.
And when are they? What days of the week?
They're always the second week of the month or the second Wednesday, usually, of the month.
And what other resources online are available to residents to learn more about what the agenda is for the Plan Commission and or some of the thoughts around the Central Business District planning that's going on?
Everything is online in terms of if you just do Plan Commission, City of Lake Forest, Illinois, you got to make sure you do Illinois. You'll get California because that's happened to me. So you go on there and it has everything. It has the meeting dates. It has Catherine Cerniak, who you can contact as well if you feel you're not getting the answer that you need or you want more information on that. It has all the agendas and the minutes, and the same thing with the Zoning Board of Appeals. Everything is there as well, and the Building Board of Review as well.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for
Thank you
taking
very
the
much.
time
I
today
appreciate it.
to talk with me. Really appreciate it, and have a wonderful rest of the day and week.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Take care.